So, YouTube, today I got a recommendation from somebody who was having trouble, not trouble, delays in setting up DosBox, which is that program that I'm using to run DOS games. So today, I figured I'd do a little tutorial here. Not entirely sure how this video quality will turn out. Hopefully you can at least see what I'm typing. I will add little boxes into my little video afterward, just in case. I'm trying to do this as best aspect ratio I can, but doesn't always happen that way. But anyway, while I'm just kind of doing my little thing down here with XSplit, I'm just going to guide through the process here. So, when it comes to DosBox, I'm just going to go to the DosBox website to start off with. DosBox, an x86 emulator with DOS. So when you get to this website, there's obviously multiple links on here. You are going to be looking for the downloads link that's right here under the Way More FPS Than Counter-Strike banner. Just news, crew, information, status, FAQ, downloads. It's also compatibility as a forum if you're having troubles as well. It even says go to goodoldgames.com or GOG.com to find classic PC games. This also kind of works with ScumVM as well, which is that one that EA or LucasArts had that ran Monkey Island. That being said, when you go to the DosBox website, there's a little green button that says Download Now, SourceForge, Trusted for Open Source. Just click on that. It'll automatically download your DosBox. So once you get DosBox set up, it'll ask you do you want to install this? You hit no one ever reads the user agreement, just hit next, core files, desktop shortcut. Then asks you which folder you want to install it to. I'm going to cancel out of mine because I already have this installed. I installed mine to a very specific hard drive. So I put it under my Games DOS app folder, which, I mean, you guys are more than welcome to pick your own folder. I put mine in one location because my DOS games are there too. But I put it in the app folder, DosBox appears, things like documentation, video codecs, DosBox.exe, which is the main file that we're going to be looking at as well. So they even have screenshots and recordings, and we'll get into that in a second as well there for you. But once DosBox is installed, you're going to want to make sure you have a couple of different things. So I'm just going to load up DosBox first in the background. So one thing that I make sure that I do is I have at least one or two games extracted just for testing. So for example, you want Commander Keen 6, Aliens Eat My Babysitter, or God of Thunder. I almost said Game of Thrones there. God of Thunder is a really good one to have as well, just because you can test on the multiple different things. I've never used setblast.exe, Torrance Passage. Torrance Passage is a weird one. That one, I had the original disc and it wouldn't load, so I used the disc to download the DosBox compatible version from the actual website. I forget if it was LucasArts or EA or one of those ones, but same writer as these. Anyway, not the point. That's a whole other story. But Quake, Keen, and God of Thunder are my three that I typically pick. Now you want to make sure that your folder has no spaces, and I'll explain the square brackets thing as well while I'm at it. So when I organize my hard drive, by the way, I tend to organize things by category. So I tagged it as 2D, tagged it as 3D, tagged it as games, or there's good old games, which I really should have thought that one through before, whatever. So basically, the reason I installed it in the games folder so it's all in one place. That being said, now, when you load up your DOS app, DosBox.exe, it's going to come up with this window here. It says, welcome to DOSBox version 0.74. For short introduction, for new users, type intro. This obviously is, if you type intro, it straight up just tells you how to use it. So more information, basic mount type, intro mount, intro CD-ROM, special keys, type intro special. Now, this is important. DosBox will exit without a warning if an error has occurred. That being said, I've had some problems with like ROM station and DosBox where I don't even know what's going on in the background. All I know is the error flags up. Whatever program has stopped working. Click here for a solution. There's no solutions found, so just click to close program. Not sure what causes that. For me, God of Thunder, it plays fine right up until the very end. And when I get to the end sequence, it ends up closing. ROM station does it after like an hour of recording or an hour of playthrough. When I reload, it seems to work. That kind of error will pop up when you are playing games in DosBox as well as ROM station, just in case you do happen to use ROM station. Anyway, so here are some commands that will get you started. This is the one that we are going to be using the most. So I'll kind of explain what DosBox is when I started up, it had a Z drive. Basically, DosBox is your virtual Z drive, and then it's like a virtual machine that references your computer. So if you hit Mount C, you're creating a C drive onto DosBox using whichever folder you specify from your computer. So in this case, if you mount the virtual C drive as your C:\DOS programs, then when you go to your C drive, the root folder is going to be C:\DOS programs instead of the C:\root. So that's just an example. Obviously, you can replace it with your own games directory. I'm going to show you using our own games directory as well as something else as well. So this is the Mount C drive. You can do that for other things as well. Now, so when the mount is successfully completed, you can type your C:, and it goes to your mounted C drive, which is whatever folder you specified. Now, when you're in that folder, you can type dir. Now, dir is short for directory, and it gives you a directory of all of the so just give me 2 seconds here. Directory of all of the files and folders in the folder that you're in. So, cd will also allow you to enter a directory recognized by the tabs in a directory listing. So cool, you can run programs and files in with exe, bat, and com. This being said, I've never really used anything on this screen. You can also mount D drive as well. That's for CD-ROM drives. Not entirely sure if you can do E and F drives as well, but there's several things here as well. So for example, if your game is running faster than it should be, Control F11 slows down the emulation. That way, you can kind of, if your game is running faster than it's anticipated, you can essentially slow it down so you're not getting a ridiculously sped up game. Same thing as if the game is loading up slow. You can use Control F12 to speed up the emulation. Then you have unlock speed, so you have turbo button, fast forward, kill DosBox with Control F9. Basically, Control and all the F keys are going to be your main ones, as well as Alt Enter to go full screen and exit full screen. So if I were to Alt Enter right now, boom, boom. So obviously there's a couple of different things we can do on the DosBox thing. You can also start recording your playthroughs as well. May or may not have sound, but you can do Control F6 to record a sound output to a WAV file. Control F7 to start and stop recording of OPL commands, raw MIDI commands, save a screenshot, start moving to the screen. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do. You can also update directory cache for all drives and swap mounted disk image, which is pretty cool as well. But that's more advanced stuff. So basically, we are going to create a drive. And first things first, I am going to show you why my tagging system is not efficient for DOS. So if I go to Mount C, create a C drive basically, with my computer drive C:\games. So I can mount the file, which is pretty fine. And I can do my C:, now I'm in the C drive, which is actually C:\games on my legit computer. Now if I hit dir, I have different games in directories installed. So I have like Anno 2205, I have Diablo 2, Final Fantasy 8, Guild Wars, Overwatch, and DOS. Those are all my directories. So if I wanted to get into the CD DOS, unable to change. Now I know this is counterintuitive to show you what doesn't work, but if you have square brackets in your directory name like I do, you can't use the CD command. Now that overwhile 1, if you have a folder that is 8 characters long, you're perfect. Anything more than 8, it's going to do this thing. So if I hit CD Overwatch, which is the actual name of my folder, directory name is longer than 8 characters and or contains spaces. Try CD Overwhile 1. CD Overwhile 1. That actually allows me to get into the Overwatch folder. And then if I go to my dir, it has all the things I would need there. Now, this is the problem as well, is because I'm not entirely sure how to unmount the CD drive. If I do, I think it's CD CD backslash back there. Z mount C colon backslash games backslash square brackets DOS. That's already mounted, which is kind of a problem because can't really unmount the C colon hard drive. So if you kind of screw up a little bit, you're kind of a little screwed overall, and the best thing to do is just kind of go back into the DosBox app and start over. Oops, wrong window. Oop. So mount C colon backslash games backslash DOS. Once you have like your base folder where you don't have any more of the square brackets, you're fine. Then you can go in, do your dir. Obviously I'm not going to go into the app because you're using the app to load this. You're not going to load up DosBox app with DosBox. That's counterintuitive. But there's dir files or directory files such as Keen 6, God of Thunder, Quake, Torrens Passage. I am going to use I'll use Keen 6 as an example in this one. So cd space Keen 6. Cool. Now if I want to find out what's in there, I can dir that. There's a com and an exe as well. So if I use keen6.exe, loads the game. So cool, it needs software production, there's the control panel, new game, what's this, Orbtrix I think it's called, sorry, Orbitrix. That was my bad. Really? It's not a Fleeks. Orbitrix? Orbix? Anyway, not the point. I know that's like there's a blue guard there, there's a bababa, or a baba, whatever it's called. Actually, that's a blue. Not quite the point I was trying to make on that one, though. But yeah, basically the DOS game works just like any other game. You can use your keyboard, things like that. You can map a controller to use certain keys, whatever you need it to do. Also, by the way, see if I can do this. I just want to be funny and see if I can get in and show you guys how this works. Oh god, I'm just going to do it again. Are you freaking serious? Okay, so obviously that creature is going to be one of those creatures that I won't be able to find quite easily. That being said, though, this is not a difficult task, essentially. All it really is, in this case, you just have to look up the monster and put it in as a password, and you can get into the game and play it, basically. So that basically the reason I was kind of go over this anyway is just to show you how to get DOS set up. But now that we got DosBox set up, it's pretty decent. Actually, I think it was Orbitrix. It's 0. Orbitrix. Yeah, it was Orbitrix. I just spelled it wrong. Hey, you can play your DOS game this way. Cool, you can win. This thumbs up takes a little too long. I'm just gonna make sure I can show you guys. Okay, cool. So Control F12. Cool. So you can Control F11 and Control F12. It'll basically change the frame rate of the game, and you can make it go ridiculously fast as well. So if you keep clicking it, goes back up to its normal speed, but I don't know how it didn't die there. Boop. You can just do your game as normal. Now basically, each DOS game does kind of have its own little thing. Its own, what do I mean by that? Its own set of controls. Let's die. Anyway, we're just going to exit out of that. Anyway, so basically with DosBox, this is the whole thing that you want to go through is can you find how to mount a file or mount a folder? Is it unmount or was it dismount? Intro, DosProgs, blah blah blah. It doesn't tell you how to unmount a folder, which is kind of weird. Because when you think about it, you probably should be able to do that. Yeah, it's really weird that it doesn't allow you to do that, but yeah. You can still use the CD /, get back into your actual one, go to CD, go to Thunder, put in got.exe, and then you're already ready to load up the next game, which is, in this case, God of Thunder. And cool, you have your game videos and stuff as well. Boom, boom. Most of the DOS games use Control, Alt, and Space as your keys, as well as your arrow keys. Typically there's no WASD, by the way. Anyway, I hope this kind of put into perspective how to use what's it called? The DosBox program. Because basically it's just like figuring out how to mount folders, navigate properly, and if you don't use tags like me, you can use the CD function as well. Just mount it to a C drive, use CD directory, CD directory, CD directory, and then just go right into the .exe file. And then CD / to keep backing out of directories until you get to the branch that you want, and then branch into the other directory if you're looking to switch games. So my little tip there is don't use square brackets when naming your folders. Anyway, that being said, I hope this information was more helpful. If you guys have any problems, just let me know. I will definitely direct message back or reply back on this video, giving any tips that are necessary to operate DosBox accordingly. My best advice as well for naming your folders, aside from don't use square brackets, if you're going to do the mounting thing like I just did, make a games folder. Just when you do mount C : games, then just use like CD game folder. Then when you're in that folder, run the exe. Don't do what I did and make a ridiculously long folder name or folder path like CD : square brackets games / square brackets DOS. Sometimes when I mount, I just put in the entire path up until where the exe is found, and then I can't CD / out because I don't know how to unmount. But for all intents and purposes, that's how you get up and running for these DOS games and potential Let's Plays if you wanted to follow along and game with me. That being said, typing an exit into DosBox, exit out of DosBox. Anyway, till next time though, I hope you guys can toy around with this and get some games up and running. Let me know what kind of games you guys are playing as well, because I want to see if I can play along with you guys and do some Let's Plays as well. Anyway, till next time, Laguna Matata.